What's going on, everybody? This is Dave from Steel City Drones. Today, we're talking about a tethered station for the Matrice 30T. Get a lot of questions, a lot of interest in something like this, and we have a really good manufacturer here called Volarious. They have been making very good products for many years. In fact, they used to make a really good battery charger for the Matrice 200, and now they have a very high quality tethered power station for the Matrice 30T. So we're going to go ahead, go over what we've done here and how all this works. This is a very good case. It's high quality right here. We were using and we've been testing this, getting it up and down. We have made many flights with this, and this works really well. This is an aviation quality tethered line, and it's going to go ahead and has two little power cables for these power modules, and these are going to be what's going to go into the aircraft. These are actually modified batteries that have the power modules on here. Some people call these air modules. Volarious calls them power modules. And then what we have here is a little hook that is going to go ahead and attach to the back and the bottom of the aircraft. So we have to take off the little factory plate. It's just 4 screws. Attach this one right here, and that attaches right to here. That's going to allow us to be able to go ahead and get this powered up. So the modified batteries that have the power modules on them are approximately 250 grams heavier than a standard TB30 battery. So combined, it's about 500 grams heavier that we're adding on here. In addition to that, this tethered line cable can go as much as 328 feet high. So at 328 feet high, this is approximately 750 grams of weight as well, for a total of 1,250 grams of payload that the aircraft has to be able to add. Now, if you're familiar with the DJI specs, the DJI specs have it listed as maximum takeoff weight of an additional 300 grams. So at 1,250 grams, you can be asking, well, is that too much payload? So when we posed this question to Volarious about the payload, they're saying that DJI specs the maximum takeoff weight into account when the aircraft is going forward and backwards, as they're saying that is the most power and load on the motors themselves. So when the aircraft is just hovering in the air and not moving, it's requiring a lot less power. Thus, really, it can be able to accept a lot more payload when it's hovering in the air, not moving. So that is taking a lot into account here. Now, when we were able to go ahead and test this, we had no problems at all with the aircraft struggling at all to be able to take the power line all the way up to 300 feet. Had no problems whatsoever. And in addition to that, when we tested this, it was hot outside. So it was about 85 degrees outside. The corrected density altitude was around 3,700 feet. Again, it's really thin air, but it's not at sea level either. And we had no problems at all with the aircraft struggling to be able to take the line up and down or be able to hover or anything. So we didn't see any problems with that. So we feel that at this point that there's going to be no problems with that additional payload that this is going to take. So once I'm ready to take off, I set the drone on the tether station just like this, in this orientation, and then I'm ready to take off. So I can either take off manually, or I can go ahead and use the auto takeoff and auto land features. Now, if you're going to go ahead and use the auto land features, there is a QR code that's right on the top of the box that helps the aircraft and app be able to go ahead and come down and get it on here exactly where it needs to be. So again, this is a fairly small footprint, but it's able to auto land in an exact spot thanks to this QR code that's right here. So Volarious has its own dedicated VLine app for the Matrice 30. It's an APK file that we just have to download and install. And the thing that's a little different that you're going to want to know about is that when you're using the Volarious, it cannot use the DJI Pilot app. In fact, what you have to do is you have to force quit it and make sure that it is not open at all, because the functionality of the Volarious and the Matrice 30 are not going to work if the Pilot 2 is open. So you have to use that app when you're using this. And for the most part, all of the features and functionality are there. You're able to switch between the wide and the thermal and the zoom camera. And to control the camera, take your index finger and move it around on the screen to be able to go ahead and change the pan and the tilt characteristics of the camera. Now, one thing that we ran into is that currently, the Volarious system has been set up to run on version 6 firmware for the aircraft. So anybody who has already had their 7.0 version already knows that we cannot downgrade the firmware. So the folks over at Volarious was able to actually get us a new APK file and VLine version app on this to be able to use it. Now, with the temporary app that they sent us, we were not able to go ahead and do a auto takeoff and land, which is a high part of their new app that they have in there. We had to control the aircraft manually, and we didn't have any problems being able to do so. So we were very impressed with Volarious' tech support and their rapid response to be able to answer emails and questions that we had. And we were also very happy and actually pleasantly surprised by the high-level quality instruction manual that comes with this, as well as the instructional video that you can watch on YouTube regarding how to be able to use this. It's actually fairly easy to use, and you can get this aircraft and this setup up in the air after several minutes. Now, the Tethered box uses its own wireless network. So we connect that to the remote controller, and we actually have separate buttons here for the real tension power and the actual tethered connection as well. So when the Matrice 30T is in the air with the Volarious, we can go as high as 328 feet. Now, we have not seen anything come even remotely close to anything that we've ever tested, either with the Matrice 30 or the Matrice 300. Now, this is the first one that we have tested with the Matrice 30. And again, we were very pleasantly surprised to see that it can go that high. We haven't seen anything on the market that comes remotely close. Volarious is recommending that you use a minimum of a 2200 watt power supply gas generator for this, and a pure sine wave inverter is highly recommended. So one of those portable Honda power generators is perfect for this. This also has a very good safety feature built into it, where if the power source gets interrupted, say the generator runs out of gas, or the power line gets unplugged accidentally or kicked or whatever have you, it's going to be able to stay in the air for probably at least 20 minutes. We put this to the test. We had no problems being able to come down and land safely. So you have more than enough time to be able to get this to come down and land. It does tell you if you have a problem on the app, if it does get disconnected. The other part that we really liked on this test right here is when the aircraft is up, it does maintain proper tension on the drone to the actual tethered station, which is very important in windy conditions. We have seen other tethered stations out there that have inadequate or no tension on that line. And when we have windy conditions up to 20, 25, 30 miles an hour, that can be as much as 20 to 40 feet of slack that's just blowing in the wind and can cause an unsafe condition. So that is a consideration that really should not be taken very lightly. And that is a good aspect, just again, another design characteristic that Volarious took into account with this. Another aspect of what we like on here is that Volarious has what's called the V-light. The V-light is a search light that can be put right on top of the drone, as I'm showing you right there. Also, we can do a variable amount of power to it as well. And this is really good for working in conjunction with the V-line at nighttime, whether we have search and rescue, or let's say we have to do an accident reconstruction, or a vehicle goes off a hillside in a remote area and there's no other way to be able to power that scene for the ground responders. And this all combined will be able to do that very, very well. So overall, highly impressed with this unit. And we get a lot of things that we test, and this checks every box of what we're looking for in a tethered station, and for that matter, in an accessory for the Enterprise line. It's heavy duty, it's high quality. The app itself is very easy to use. So again, everything that we're looking for, all this is everything and then some. So if you have any questions, let us know. We are a Volarious dealer, so we are reselling this. We'll be glad to talk to you about any aspects of this that you may have. We're putting it on our website. You have all that information there as well. So thanks again for watching. Again, if you have any questions, put it down below in the comment section, and we'll be glad to help you out. So thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Steel City Drone Flight Academy offers the most comprehensive on-site commercial remote pilot training program in the United States. Our team of professional drone instructors has more than 30 years of combined experience and have trained more than 1,000 students to fly drones commercially. We offer on-site training anywhere in the United States.
Dave King from Steel City Drones is a pioneer in the drone industry and is one of the most experienced remote pilots with more than 18,000 logged flights and over 10 years of flying experience. After working with more than 800 clients, Dave has taken everything that he has learned and incorporated it into Steel City Drones training program to prepare you to be the best commercial pilot possible.
Our most popular training package is a 4-day commercial program. Day 1, it's an introduction to drones day, an introduction to flying day, equipment familiarization. Day 2 is all-day flying. It's our advanced flying. You learn up to 15 different practice exercises. You learn how to fly manually without any automation, and you're going to be amazed by the things that you can do by the end of the day. The 3rd day is what we call Advanced Ground School. We teach you everything that the Part 107 test does not. And that's going to be everything, nuts and bolts from a theory standpoint on how to be able to do flight missions. Everything from flight planning, risk assessments, to wireless communications, how to use visual observers, all the resource management from a theory standpoint. If you want to really sharpen up how to fly drones commercially and professionally, this is a day that you cannot miss. The 4th day is a commercial applications day, where we're taking the first 3 days, putting it all together, and we're doing simulated training missions that you would normally do for commercial flying. Inspection work, mapping, or they could be search and rescue, monitoring, a lot of different ways that we can go with that tactical day. Depends on who is in the group and what they want to be able to do. They are completely customizable.
We also offer everything from 1-day introduction classes to 7-day train the trainer programs tailor-made to your specific needs.
What sets us apart from other training schools is that we teach you how to fly manually without any automation so that you're prepared to respond to the worst type of situation a pilot can experience.
Steel City Drones offers small groups of up to 6 participants per instructor so that each student gets sufficient one-on-one instruction.
I'm Detective Brent Dukes with Jackson Police Department. The thing I like most about Steel City Drones on-site training was that all the way from the setup, the most basic parts of the setup of the drone and the equipment, having an expert right there with us to answer any questions we have was so helpful. They offered comprehensive package including equipment recommendations, training, certification, study guides, everything that we needed to implement this drone into our department, they provided. Some of the training that we got on site was flight planning, emergency drone recovery, should the worst case happen, dual flights with 2 controllers, one operator controlling the drone itself, the other controlling the camera. I would say that as sophisticated of a piece of equipment as this is, it's only as good as the operator who is running it, and the operator is only as good as the training they've received. Because there's no way that I would have figured out some of the capabilities of this equipment had I not had David on site as an expert. I'm pretty capable with this type of equipment. I'm pretty savvy with technology, but there are things that I learned about this because David was there to answer questions in real time that I never would have learned on my own, or even with the other members of my department who were flying it with me. If I didn't have his expertise in real time, there's just capabilities that I would be completely missing out on.
My name is Robert Warrington. I'm the budget analyst at the State Training School in Eldora, Iowa. Working with Dave was fantastic. He gave us great guidance on what to look for, and kind of his insights and what would really help for our kind of mission that we have here. And by building this, I think it's going to help the school accomplish what we're looking for.
For more information about Steel City Drones training services, please visit our website at steelcityflightacademy.com.